Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 wrists. They was sleeping on me, homie, must've got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Your offer too little, sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ECAC Quarterfinals for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. My name is Keelan Miles on the mic with Last, and we're getting ready to go into one part of the bracket with Fisher College taking on St. Thomas Aquinas.
It's going to be a fantastic match we got ahead of us, and we are very excited to see who the starters for each team are going to be. But you and I were discussing it just a little bit in the green room ahead of this match coming up, and we have a couple expectations. We'll see if those are fulfilled or not. But before we actually dive into this match, I figured we'd want to talk just a little bit about where we already are in this bracket.
Yeah, here in the quarterfinals, a lot of the teams have been knocked out. A lot of the filler have been cut away, and we are seeing quite a few of the big names arising. Most notably, Fisher College Navy, who has been the dominant force in college esports.
I believe has yet to lose a single game, not even just a single set, mind you. They've 2-0'd everybody, both in the regular seasons and the playoffs thus far. I believe already having beaten Emory, FAU, and now they're facing off against STAC, St. Thomas Aquinas College, in this quarterfinals matchup to see if they can move any farther. And at least if things go as predicted, I think we'll be seeing them move a little bit farther. But Stack is here to try and make that upset happen, and they haven't had the easiest bracket themselves either. They've already gone through Ben U and SVSU to make their way here to face off against Fisher.
Yeah, and in qualifiers for the East in-person LAN not too long ago, in the actual LAN itself, they had set pretty high expectations for themselves, and they are a hard one to prepare for. They have probably the biggest X factor to non-X factor ratio out of any team in the form of Derpager. The fact that Derpager does just wipe out players. It disrupts your game plan. You have someone prepared to take down Derpager, they're probably not going to, but the fact that Fisher's depth is so, well, deep, I can't see them not weathering that storm.
Right, you look at the roster of Fisher, and you see players like Tony Pajamas, Nexus, and, oh, actually, speaking of Nexus, there he is. He's going to be our starter for Fisher, but you see players like that, and you go, oh, this isn't just, like, this is more than just a collegiate esports team. This is a crew that could probably wipe some professional teams.
Yeah, they can. So NeoJoe has to have a solid game plan here, control this ground, and most importantly, I feel like once the Ivysaur comes out, control these platforms. That's where they've gotten a lot of their mileage before. We'll see if he can do it today.
Damage off the bat staying pretty even, but there's the starter that Nexus has probably been looking for all along. That early up tilt tries to read the Pokemon swap with the up smash, but doesn't quite find it, so we're going to reset down to neutral, and he's going to go back to looking for those up tilt starters. Charizard doesn't stay out long, and we're back on to Squirtle.
Yeah, just tries to go for a bread and butter, but a little out of the percent range. Over to the Ivysaur now, hoping to get an early confirm. I actually like this. A little bit of footsies. NeoJoe staying right out of Nexus's threat range. Nexus eventually gets a grab. They get a follow-up with the Nair. Edgeguard situation. Can Nexus find the kill?
Gotta remember, one of the biggest tools in neutral for Falco is that down B, that shine, that reflector. It comes out frame one. It is one of the fastest moves in the entire game, so it is a phenomenal tool to disrupt your opponent's neutral. And Nexus has already been demonstrating that, but now he gets sent deep off stage by a Wayward Fair. He's only one or so hits away from losing this first stock for Fisher.
Yeah, and this is the real test for me. NeoJoe has shown themselves able to rack up percent before, but can you find this kill at high percents when the scramble is at its messiest? Can you find this finisher? Fourth throw off stage, another... Oh! Okay.
Stretchered his way back to stage via a fortunate platform, and I think NeoJoe already starting to pick up on one of those bad habits from Nexus as he finds the up throw for the KO, but I believe that's the third or fourth time that Nexus has side beamed straight into NeoJoe's shield and either gotten grabbed or F-tilted or whatever, mind you, for it.
Yeah, but a trade off of that Nair will put this at a very even game. Back to Squirtle now. We saw NeoJoe get a decent amount of mileage, up to 60% last time. We'll see if they can do it again. Looking for that forward tilt. They just get a raw grab instead. Some bread and butters. Extends with the back air. Can they get even more? No. Just recovering straight to ledge from Nexus.
Nexus gotta watch out for those side Bs. It's already been called out a couple of times by NeoJoe and once by me. can't keep doing that same thing over and over and getting punished for it, but this time it serves him pretty well, and he's able to get at least a little bit of chip damage off before the Pokemon swap comes and interrupts the combo.
And there's that harassment tool you talked about too. Gives them the advantage they need. Oh, they go all the way out. Nexus is able to get back to the platform. Neutral air dodge into the down air. Neo Joe wasn't expecting that one. Potential for a kill right here. But with 2 forward airs, now it's Neo Joe's turn.
Nexus trying to make use of that long lingering hitbox on the fair, but Neo Joe is able to drift just outside of that Falco range, and Nexus can't find anything meaningful off of the offstage interaction, so they're just going to reset back to neutral, but he's gotten himself a pretty significant lead in the meanwhile. Nexus only one maybe up tilt bear, up tilt up air, depends on the angle, away from closing the stock out, but Charizard, he hits like a truck on occasion, and on Town and City where those blast zones are closer than you might like, he could find something, but he'll have to find something on a different stock as Nexus finds the down tilt for it.
And with center platform right there, there is potential for down air through the platform, some kind of control, but right now you can see Nexus does not want to give up that platform. Instead, it's Neo Joe having to operate around it, and that leads to them getting hit with a combo starter. Tries to extend with the side B, it does work out. Extends with a grab too, all the way up into the air, but no finisher yet.
Speaking of combo starters, that up tilt once again serving Nexus incredibly well. And he's built up 78.3% in just the blink of an eye. This is not looking great for Neo Joe, but if he can take one more stock off before Nexus closes here, he'll have at least done a little bit of damage to Fisher's starter and given his teammates, like that player Derpager that you were talking about a little bit earlier, the chance to make that victory happen.
Oh, that side
There
B
it is.
punished again. And now you got to deal with Charizard at Rage. I can't see them switching off. You just want to bank it all on these meaty hits, trying to get an early kill right here. Maybe going for it all, but no overextension yet.
Hang on, this is where magic happens at the ledge, but it's for the wrong player, at least from Neo Joe's perspective, as Nexus catches the charge on an up smash with a cross-up bear and closes out that first player from St. Thomas Aquinas with only 1 stock lead.
And I gotta say, Les, that was very good. We talked about the X factor going into that, but Neo Joe has certainly stepped it up. Nexus was one of the players we were talking about a lot going into this, and the fact that Nexus is down to only 1 stock, that Neo Joe was able to put on such a show, definitely something to be proud of. And one thing you do have to remember, this is a best of 3 crew battle. So even if Fisher takes this first one, which they do have the lead right now, they will have to win a second one over Stack. And Stack is showing that they came to play.
Yeah, they have at the very least one more 3-person crew battle to make it happen against Fisher, but this one's not over and done yet. It's only 7-6. That 1 stock lead could evaporate, in the blink of an eye, depending on who they send in next against Nexus.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure who the play is. I think Derpager usually comes in the middle, in the second position, not usually the anchor. They have a very unorthodox style, but in this scenario, with only 1 stock on Nexus, I think you send someone in to try and finish off Nexus, try to get them and fish out even more information from the next opponent from Fisher. Even if they go down to that next opponent, it gives Derpager a lot more of an advantage. It gives them a counterpick advantage to start.
Yeah, that's the constant back and forth in terms of crew battles. Is, do we send our strongest players in first? Do we save them for the middle? Do we save them for as an anchor? It really depends on where you want to load up your team. And sometimes you have nothing but strongest players if you look at a team like Fisher. But it's still, not unbeatable. If you get the right order, the right counter picks, the right matchups, you could certainly win a crew battle against these guys. And I think only 1 stock deficit, not the end of the world for these guys over at Thomas Aquinas, and it looks like their next player coming in will be Ampy, so they're going to go for the Falco Ditto against Nexus to try and close out this last stock.
Yeah, they do also have a Wolf, but I'll be honest, having seen them both, I kind of prefer the Falco, even if Nexus might be more proficient in the Ditto. It might be a little more explosive, but either way, one thing I had called both Neo Joe and Amp out on when we had initially seen them, and quite a few times we've seen them, is they keep things so even on the first stock. They go to 120, 120, and then they never end up taking that stock, and then it just snowballs and snowballs, and they're never able to finish that kill. The fact that Neo Joe came in with a ironclad mentality, able to get Nexus to last stock, I've got high expectations for Amp coming in right here. If Neo Joe stepped it up, Amp, I hope you are coming all trained up as well.
That is absolutely one of the worst feelings in a crew battle, is getting started, getting a hot start, getting your opponent. I would say it's one of the worst feelings in Smash in general, is you're doing so great, you combo them up to 120, 140, 160, and then you just can't find that KO. It's right on the edge. It's at the tip of your fingers. You're reaching out to grab it. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I think kill confirms and the ability to kill your opponent randomly at 30 are probably the strongest thing in the modern meta. And
that's something that I've talked a lot about with both the players that I coach and just on the mic in general. It's a concept that I've heard a few people, and I've kind of adopted the term of stray hit kill power. And it's where you get your opponent to this percent, or be it 80, be it 20. It doesn't really matter what percent that is, because it's dependent on your character. And then you just start spamming moves. Because eventually, if you have, say, a 2-stock to 1 lead, or even a 3-stock to 1 lead, you're going to hit one of those moves, right? Maybe. Probably. And eventually, when one of those stray hits connects and kills, you win the game off of it. So being able to build up that huge lead early on, and then spam moves, because one of them is going to find its mark eventually, that stray hit kill power kind of forsakes a lot of characters' comeback potential, because they have to play perfectly around, let's say, a Charizard spamming back air.
And, well, playing perfectly is what we're going to need to see for Nexus to keep this lead. 1 stock to 3 against the Wolf. It is going to be the Wolf avoiding the Ditto. I don't mind this too much. I feel like maybe a little more vulnerable to getting blown up, but I feel like close to the ground in the short hot range, Wolf stands dominant. We'll see it. Maybe
looks like the wrong stage, I would guess. Yeah. But I would also like to point out that due to the choice of the Wolf, that means that Amp is going to be locked onto this character no matter how the match with Nexus goes. So if they beat Nexus in any way, be that with 3 stocks remaining or 1, whoever Fisher sends in next is going to have to deal with Amp on the Wolf.
Yeah, and what I'm looking for Amp on the Wolf, when I saw them in person last time, the Wolf had some good movement. The Wolf was clean, but again, once they got to that 120, 130 range, it was just a lot of just spaced forward air. It was a very linear game plan. And I don't mind when you have just a B game, when you have a flow state that you get into. But when it gets that predictable, a lot of people were calling it out. So as long as Amp is able to keep the same mentality that they have at lower percents of racking up damage, of getting setups, of linking moves together, then I feel like Amp does stand a substantial chance here to not only take out Nexus, but maybe get a stock or two of whoever comes next.
We'll have to see how it goes, though, as the actual stage for this matchup will be PS2. And we'll be getting started here right now.
Alrighty. And we confirm the connection. It's all good. PS2, 3 stocks to 1. And right off the bat, win conditions for Nexus is just getting those crazy 0 to deaths. You're playing against a fast faller now, and it's going to be a lot more brutal. We've seen what Nexus can do, and we're seeing it right now.
Already off the bat, 52% built up. It's the same type of thing that we saw earlier against especially Charizard, where just do not get up tilted. If you get up tilted, you are going for a ride. You are watching this cutscene, and the cutscene continues here with the up throw dare by Nexus to put Amp just that little bit closer to losing this first stock.
Yeah, good shield conservation right there, able to weather all of Amp's attacks, and now we see them right back into the fray. Now Amp has caught on, going for the grabs, but no real follow-up off of that. I do like the harassment with the laser, but right now it is Nexus who stands dominant, but that forward smash a little too cheeky.
Nexus just looking for the Randy F smash out of nowhere, but instead finds an up tilt bear out of nowhere. And that's another stock gone for St. Thomas Aquinas, guaranteeing at least a 1 stock lead should Nexus go down here.
As platform play going in Nexus's favor for now. 78% though. One Falco off stage. That could be Wolf finding the stock, but even so, Nexus is just running away with this now.
That will flash just in the nick of time to get Amp back on stage before Nexus was able to close it out with the runoff dare, but these side Bs not getting punished nearly as hard as they were against his previous opponent. He's getting away with them a lot more frequently, and as such finding himself both positioning and damage, and that's something that Amp is going to have to deal with, and soon, if they want to be able to take this stock away from Nexus.
Yeah, Nexus definitely setting the pace of this match. As much as Amp is trying to get their hand on the metronome, it feels like Nexus has been deciding where and when these engagements actually happen. As straight hit aerials into the tech chase, an opportunity to find an offstage kill right here, but the forward tilt 2-frame does not come out. And now a down air into the back air, and now it's Amp on last stock.
Nexus continuing to show his value to this Fisher team. Already getting 5 stocks on the board and maybe even looking for one more here and now. 59% in the blink of an eye, and he's not stopped. 86 looks for the random F smash and still holds on to this control of the ledge. Frame traps, finds the bear, but it's not enough just yet.
Ooh, scramble situation, and the up smash will find it right there in the end. Nexus with the 3 stock right there, getting a solid, more than solid, rock solid lead for Fisher College. That's 7-3.
7-3. It was looking promising for St. Thomas Aquinas coming out of that first one after Neo Joe set them up so well. That 7-6, that was like, oh, this is within striking distance. This is within grasp. This is nice and doable. And then Nexus just goes and 3 stocks Amp, and I feel like that was kind of emblematic of what you were describing to me in the pregame for that, where Amp did a great job at getting Nexus up to 102% and did not do anything after the fact.
Yeah, it was a lot of harassments with lasers, a lot of poking with very soft hit aerials, because I feel like on the first stock, they were still in their own game. They were still trying to hit them. In the second stock, they were more trying to survive, and in the last stock, they were just trying to stay alive. And survive and stay alive, 2 very different things. When you're not even trying to throw out moves, when you're not even trying to look for a reversal, just trying to get on stage, your opponent might as well already won.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, too, that last stock was a little bit of a long form 0 to death. I don't think Amp managed to pop off a hit on Nexus the entire duration of that. That was just, I understand. Send out your next player, please. It looks like that next player is not confirmed yet, actually. Same bans, though, from the side of Fisher, which means FD, Kalos, and Hollow Bastion struck off.
I have to assume it's Derpinger. If it's not Derpinger, I just assume Derpinger isn't there, and that's no shame on Siobhan Williams. Very good showing at the LAN, but in these scenarios, you need your X Factor. You need your clutch, who has been clutch for pretty much the entirety of ECAC's existence, and that is Derpinger. I mean, we've seen
Derpinger.
Yeah, we have seen Derpinger like wipe entire teams that have ranked New Jersey players like Hydra. It's
definitely a threat coming in against Nexus, but I would like to point out that they are going Villager into not just a Spacey, but Falco. And for those of you unaware, Villager does not like the Spaceys, Falco least of all, and it's because of that harassment tool that we were talking about just a second ago. It's that frame 1 reflector, the frame 1 shine. Because let me ask you a question. What are almost every single one of Villager's attacks based off of?
Me, a projectile.
Wow. What happens when a projectile interacts with the frame 1 shine?
Ouch.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to setting up stuff like ledge traps with the tree or even the bowling ball. That stuff just goes right back in Villager's face, and Villager loses a lot of utility in that matchup because the vast majority of his moves are reactable, especially like we were talking about with the frame 1 option being there.
Yeah, so we'll have to see Derpinger capitalizing on any habits they have picked up watching Nexus play against their teammates. We'll have to see disciplined on how they use their projectiles, make sure they're in situations where Nexus can't realistically get a reflect. We'll see if Derpter can put all that into practice starting here on PS2.
And we're already off the bat, a quick 6.4 put on, but Derpinger's able to escape much better off than some of his teammates did after getting caught by the initial hit from Nexus. Now going high to jump just straight over that, and here we're already starting to see that counterplay come through. Just kick out the shine every time a projectile's coming your way. Don't deal with it. Let Villager deal with his own projectiles.
But I can see what Derpter has in mind of trying to bait out the Reflector, but the spike right there, I mean, Villager can make it back, and Nexus went a little too low right there. No!
That was so unfortunate from Nexus. It was not one, but two missed recoveries in a row, and ended up losing the one stock of it. I would honestly say through no fault of Derpinger's own. Nexus was mid-edge guard, and then just did not make it back.
Chekhov's side B, though, you were calling it out all of the first game. The fact that it was their own side B to undo them in the end, I feel like that says a little something right there. They enjoyed going for that side B spike where you run and you, I guess ledge trump side B right
you can
over
either
the ledge.
you can either trump, or if you catch them out, it'll spike them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every single one of Nexus's stocks was actually lost to a side B. It was either like side Bing onto Charizard's shield or side Bing off stage.
I can't really disprove you right there. All the evidence points to yes, and now Derpter 3 stocks to 6. Now, this is not going to be easy. It's going to be Luxa, formerly known as Jerry, the Ike player, coming in right here. We know them for, how would I phrase this? Their weights, their patience, the way they time their aerials. There's a tendency, in especially newer players, to just throw out their aerials as soon as you can. But Luxa has always been so precise in exactly when they throw out their nairs as this Ike that they play.
Listen, I love Ike. He's one of my favorite characters in the entire game. Nair is sometimes great, and sometimes you can't even push the button, and against Villager, it kind of sometimes seems like you aren't going to get to push the button. Yet just constantly harassed by that slingshot and can't do anything.
I'd agree with you right there. Some very good, I mean, very decent anti-airs in the form of that up air, up tilt, some disjoint, not going to benefit you too much against Ike, but Derpter has shown in the past that they are a parry god when they want to, and like that's the day one counterplay right there.
Well, looks like we're going to be getting into the game, and for better or for worse, thanks to the ending of the last one, it will be 3 stocks to 3. The final player remaining on St. Thomas Aquinas, and the second player in the roster from Fisher. We'll see if this Ike can make it happen, or at least soften up Derpinger for whoever the anchor is. Because let's face it here, 1 or 2 stocks taken here are both pretty big victories.
Yep, could be pretty damning as right now. Tech Chase forced on the platform. Derpter fishing
He
for an
hasn't
opening.
done anything other than nair.
Yeah.
He has only naired so far. He hit 1 nair back air, but that's a consequence of nair, so it counts.
Yeah, ooh. Forcing them away from the ledge. Instead, sets up a ledge trap, but Luxa just goes right on over it. And now Luxa gets caught into the forward air, side B. An opportunity right here, but does not actually catch that air dodge. Surprising.
Baits out the air dodge very well, too, with the empty hop, but then doesn't follow up on it correctly. Kind of guesses wrong at where Derpinger was going to be drifting, and that's usually the situation where you see an Ike go for a landing up air, but doesn't hit it there, and that's another stock taken by Derpinger. Technically, their first.
He's able to get that tree growing up and gets an extension off of it, 23%. Death by 1,000 cuts right now, but the knife's getting a little bigger every single time Derpter finds an opening. They're getting more and more extensions.
Some of these knives are kind of scary, especially when one's the size of a tree. Looks for a random F-smash there. Some sort of soul read, but doesn't matter when it comes to Nair Bear, especially on a stage like Hollow Bastion. That's a stock gone for Derpinger, and one step closer to victory for Fisher.
And can you even blame Luxa for going for so many nairs when the worst punish they have been eating is like a forward air side B? That's what, 24%?
Listen,
when
man,
their nair can just
I'm
lead
not
to a kill.
disparaging the Nair train. I'm encouraging it. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is how Smash was meant to be played.
Remember Nick All-Stars Brawl?
I do. I was good at that game.
Were you? Very good times. Very good times. The Nairs reminded me, but right now you can see.
I haven't seen
Derpter
nearly enough
lingering
dares for an
offstage.
Asby.
That's true, but Derpter is just leading them on a merry goose chase all around the stage.
Well, up you go to the skies with that one. Enjoy the fireworks show. As another stock is gone, and he just keeps looking for these random F smashes.
Ooh, extends into the Lloyd rocket, but again, only a little bit of damage. Just chip after chip after chip. Luxa is catching them at the ledge, though. That dash attack extension, you can tell Derpter was not ready for that one.
And another dash attack does it. Only 40% on Luxa. I feel like this isn't what the percents and stocks should look like. It feels like Derpter has been in such solid control of the match pretty much the entire time, and yet I would consider this just about even. They avoid the berry, though, in the tech chase, and they're able to keep on naring away.
Ooh, more damage off of that Lloyd rocket. Interrupts the side B, but can't get a follow-up. As, at this moment, Derpter trying to play safe, preserve the percent, because even though they won't keep it...
Ooh. Tried to get a little bit cute with that.
Very cute indeed, but... Woo, these Nairs, they're so scary at this point. Double up air, 70% now. I think another Nair might just kill. Is that it?
Not quite. Villager a little bit heavier than you might think. He's actually the same weight as Steve. Fun fact for you. But able to low profile through that. Rising, and wait, is that it? No, not quite. Still holding on, but at 111, Luxa has actually handily taken the percent lead. One more hit, especially at the ledge, will probably do it. Maybe looking for an up B here.
After how this started, the fact that Luxa was able to bring back so far, caught by... They were looking at the wrong rocket. Wrong rocket right there. It was up above in the fireworks, and Derpter is able to scrape by with just a stock to their name.
Of all the things attempted to cross up on top there, ended up losing out to the up smash. Once again, Derpter holds on, but only one stock this time around, and I think Luxa has put whoever happens to be the anchor for Fisher in a nigh unlosable position, dare I say.
Fisher's, I don't even want to say clawed it back, cleaned it up from this many times before, and I expect we'll see them do it many times again. The issue is Derpter can be a tricky opponent. Luckily, Fisher has the opportunity to send literally anyone they want in their massive roster to deal with them. So whoever is coming in, you know they've been sitting there preparing, watching, they play as a team, they know exactly what their game plan is. We'll see if that game plan is everything they hope it is.
We'll see, indeed, who they decide to send in.
Yeah. One thing I do have to...
wait?
Yeah, I think we have to. But Luxa, I have to commend them. They really were just... I mean, they did lose in the end, but they were just losing the entire match until they won. Like you said, eating so much chip damage constantly. It felt like they won maybe one neutral interaction for every 5 that Derpter did, but it didn't matter. The raw kill power of Ike is just too insurmountable for Derpter to handle, at least up until the end.
Well, I think that was very much the concept that we were discussing earlier of stray hit kill power, where you start throwing out some random moves, one of them might hit, and I think those dash attacks were pretty emblematic of it. One of them hitting, actually a couple of them connecting by the ledge, but one of them being, I would say, lucky enough to find the KO and closing out one of those stocks early enough that it suddenly became very doable for Luxa to close out the entire crew battle then and there. Didn't happen, so Fisher going to have to send in one more person, but we'll see who that person is before long. Just waiting on confirmation from production, and it looks like they're still deciding who their last person is going to be.
If I am remembering correctly from the last time they played, usually they send in Tony Pajamas against Derpter. I cannot say I can comment too much on the actual matchup itself, but I can say Tony Pajamas is very good at the Derpter matchup.
I wouldn't say that, like, Ness excels at the Villager matchup like he does against many other projectile-based characters, just because most of Villager's projectiles, actually I think all of them, are non-energy based, so Ness can't avoid or absorb them and ignore them. But he is quite literally a fast-moving physical hitbox, and it kind of hurts to go up against when you're just a little dude with a fishing rod and maybe a bug net.
Yeah. It's a little bit rough. I mean, looking at who else they have on the roster, I mean, again, we hyped them up at the beginning. Let's just go down the roster. Sonics, top 10 player. Tony Pajamas, probably one of the biggest names in college esports, and the fact that he's not even the biggest name on Fisher says a lot. Jerry, or now Luxa, need to change that in my notes. You just saw that Luxa is quite formidable, even though they did fall to Derpture. And then G Extreme on the Steve. This is a player we have not gotten to see yet. Very consistent, very resource hungry, their play style. They go for that iron, they knock you off stage, they build it up, and it is brutal. MD is on the Pokemon trainer. MD, I want to say, is like one of the most underrated members on Fisher, just because they never get to play. I wouldn't hate to see MD right here. MD came in and was just demolishing everyone around platforms. I think MD took 6 stocks against the team that put them to last hit, last stock at the LAN. It's not bad. Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. It looks like, just as a quick little update, according to the manager slash coach of Fisher, the player that they intended to send in is having a slight connection issue. So they're seeing if they can either, 1, fix it, or 2, they'll just, like you said, pick another person from that infinitely deep roster to throw in and see what they can do against Derpager's final stock.
Yeah, and looking forward to the next one, and again, we thank everyone for your patience, but looking forward to the next crew battle, it is very likely at this point, as much as we don't want to ruin the hype, that it could be Stack on the back foot. So whether they win or lose, do you see any changes that you would want, either in the playstyle or in the order that they send the players out?
I don't think that's necessarily the problem here. I think the biggest problem is that Nexus 3-stocked their second person.
Yeah.
And that is never going to be a good thing for your crew in any crew battle. It doesn't matter if it's 3v3 or 10v10, but it looks like production has just informed us that Sonics is going to be making their way in. And you poor soul, Derpager. I know we're not supposed to, like, you know, confirm the outcome of matches before they happen or show bias towards one player. It's not a bias. This guy is constantly in top 4 of major events, beating literally every single one of the best players in the world, and you have 1 stock against him.
Yeah, I mean, Sonics has been a little busy to be on ECAC a lot of the time, just because Sonics has been traveling all around the world, beating the best players in the world. So the fact that Sonics is back here now, probably just to finish up finals, this is going to be rough for Derpager. I feel like this is just a good opportunity to practice more than anything. The fact that Derpager will get the chance to throw up their defense, because we saw Derpager's defense is very good, but is it enough to keep out Sonics? And for how long? That's the question.
We'll see for sure, and I think it'll definitely depend on the stages. It looks like the bans are PS2 Small Battlefield and Battlefield. Unfortunately for Derpager, that leaves Kalos and a couple other pretty long and distended stages that Sonics would love to camp you on.
Yeah, I mean, Derpager likes to control around that ledge, setting up the tree over there, trying to bait you into an instant 0 to death, which Derpager does have. Like, we haven't really gotten to see them, but if you make the wrong move near the ledge, you will just die to the tree setups. However, Fisher has become prepared, become very informed on what Derpager has up their sleeve, and I like that. If you know what your opponent is capable of, don't even try and challenge it. Just harass them until the tree dies.
Yeah, I mean, so my roommate actually is a villager main. I have probably more experience against this character than most other people on Earth. There's a lot of things you can do to tree, and most of them start with don't be near tree.
Mm-hmm. And, well, here's the thing. Sonics could just wait out the tree. I feel like Sonic does feasibly have the mobility to get around it. Sonics as a player definitely does, but I don't even think, like, from a strictly optimal standpoint, I don't even think you need to. Like, as soon as the tree goes down, there's a little grace period, and Sonic definitely has the burst range to get on in there.
I was just checking in the Discord and seeing what was going on with the stage bans, and it looks like we are going to be going to Town, a stage that Sonic likes very much, because there's two things. One, the blast zones are very short on the sides, so he's going to be able to find a lot of early stocks off of both stuff like Spin Charge Fair off ledge and just raw back airs. And two, sometimes that stage just turns into Final Destination, one of Sonic's favorite stages.
And Villager does occasionally kill off the side with edge guards, but based on what we've seen from Derpture, it's been a lot of killing off the top. So this stage doesn't necessarily nerf them in that regard, but the fact that Sonics is able to get, I would say early kills, but early kill off the side because Derpture only has one stock.
Only one stock, yeah. And that's the other thing too, because it is on Town and City, where that kill power is that much higher, and you only have one stock, you are walking on eggshells the entire time.
Yeah. So we'll see how Derpture gathers info, maybe gets a stock or two. We will see how Derpture holds up here. I mean, obviously, we've called out the X Factor before. Almost every single member of Fisher College would be an X Factor on another team. And then Sonics is their X Factor above all else.
I mean, the fact that Fisher has been able to get this far in the season so far through most of these incredible teams without using Sonics is kind of telling. But the fact that they are bringing in Sonics now, at least at some point eventually.
Yeah. All right, Lan wasn't registering. Sonic's delaying a little bit, so we have to talk about how great he is just a little bit longer. I mean, we've been going at it for another 2 minutes. Yeah, hopefully now the LAN is registered. We're getting in it soon. But yeah, this has just been, well, I'm happy to see that Stack had a performance. The fact that they've been able to take down players, 2 players from Fisher ain't bad. That's a lot more than a lot of teams get. You get to the quarterfinals, that's what you want to be seeing. I hope in the second crew battle, A, players are a little bit more ready to go in, and B, we get to see a little more adaptation.
I think we've spent more time vamping for the games than we have actually in the games. These have just blown by so quickly. Yeah. As we just wait a little bit longer for Sonics to get in here.
Yeah, at this point, okay, we are just going to go to the briefest of breaks because it is going to be another few minutes. As soon as we get back, we're going to get into Sonics versus Derpture to end this first crew battle and get into the second one. So don't go anywhere. ECAC will be right back.
Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a sore. I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' as kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out to finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big. Jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big. The only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Capping them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to. Back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big. Foes that
And after the infinite Tsukuyomi loop of waiting for Sonics, here we are on Town and City, ready to get this final match, one way or the other, finished for match 1 of Fisher versus St. Thomas Aquinas.
We talked about how Sonics is so advantaged on this stage, so advantaged as a player. We'll see if Derpter can put anything together. Their defense has been strong. Is it strong enough right here, as Sonics already has them hugging this ledge?
And 54% in the blink of an eye off stage. This could be brutal. Ends up just popping one of the balloons instead of Villager, though, this time around with the homing attack. Off stage, looks for the back air. Almost it. Just barely still holding onto this stock. Oh, good tack.
And we talked about the defense. That's the only thing Derpter has been able to do thus far, because Sonics has just been
Run
smothering
away!
them.
Help!
Derpter, he's just a boy.
Get me out of here! Actually does find that back air there to interrupt Spin Dash. Sonics at least gets stopped in his tracks for but a moment, and a weird scramble situation there between Sonic up smash and Villager down smash results in nothing happening for either player, but his spin charge homing attack comes through, and Sonics puts Derpinger off stage once again. No tech this time around is going to mean that this crew battle has come to a close.
That was a tricky one right there, but Derpinger definitely tried to hold their own, but that was what we've come to expect from Sonic, what everyone has come to expect from Sonics, and that's 1-0 for Fisher College going into this.
1-0, and we reset back to 9 stocks to 9. We see which players that each team is going to be sending in for the starters. Once again, we'll just restart the process.
Yeah, so we saw Neo Joe come in first. What I do have to say, what I'm looking forward to, is the fact that Fisher College does have access to a very talented coach. And the fact that, well, usually they come back and they 9-stock people. They 11-stock people. They 12-stock people going into their second round. Stack has another storm coming. Like, they didn't even beat the first phase of the boss, and the second phase is already coming out.
Yeah, we'll see how this game 2 goes, depending on who they start again. I would almost just guess that they'll go for Nexus as the starter again, as, well, Sonics was the anchor and the much-talked-up hero. Nexus did take 6 stocks to start off the crew battle. Yeah, so we'll see if he can do the same thing again.
Yeah, definitely not underrated in the slightest. As, yeah. I mean, I would talk about Sonics and what Sonics did well there, but we kind of went over that a little bit.
It was a 11-minute lead-up to a 1-minute game.
Yep. Which, you talked about the Infinite Tsukuyomi loop. That pretty much sums it up.
Looks like Nexus is back. There he is.
Yep. Anyone's
So it
form
seems
stack.
that that Fisher will be repeating that same process again, and it looks like Neo Joe will also be the starter for Stack once again. So we'll see if it goes a little bit differently.
If Neo Joe just gets swept, it might just be over. The fact that Nexus struggled a little bit with Neo Joe, it was a fair fight. They were trading blow for blow, bar for bar. So if they're not able to hold off this storm that is Nexus coming in, I can't imagine the rest of this crew battle going well for Stack. But if Stack is able to hold their own, showing that their adaptation is at the same level as, at the very least at the same level as Fisher College, then I'm feeling pretty good about the rest of this. So here's the run back soon.
See how it goes. Indeed, as Stack just finishing off with the ban process.
Yeah.
FD being banned out first by Fisher.
Yeah, so going off the bat, looking at game plans, obviously, Pokemon Trainer, good at edge guarding, has the down air, is able to ledge trap really well with that I say Pokemon Trainer, I'm talking about Ivysaur right here, is able to ledge trap really well with that lingering projectile in Razor Leaf that combos into 2 of their kill moves. The issue is, how do you put that pressure on Nexus? They were barely getting Nexus off stage. A lot of their kills were kind of raw on stage. We very rarely saw anything that wasn't a side B mishap into Charizard.
We'll see, though, as we get ready to get into this. We're waiting on the bans from the side of Stack so that Fisher can select this first stage.
We shall see. Okay, it's looking like same bands as last time, and if I'm remembering correctly,
They started town.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Go town. The
Let's go
message has
town?
been sent, so we should be starting very, very shortly.
All right, and once again, now we're in the second round of it. Everyone is here. Everyone is ready to play. So hopefully, win or lose for either of these teams, this should go by much quicker. Everyone in the audience, I thank you for your patience. We're almost into the game.
Hopefully.
As-
You maybe shouldn't say that until we are in the game. And there we go.
There we go.
I was a little bit worried about you cursing us as we made our way into game 1.
Hold on,
Well-
Nintendo Online, you never know.
Match 2, game 1, that is.
I'm keeping my hands up until I actually see them play. But, okay, I got my fingers crossed. I'm giving it up, I believe, as, yeah,
Let's get this
start
started.
on the Squirtle. Ooh,
Well, a
Nice
very
string to
strong
open them
start
up.
on the Squirtle as well, yeah.
it's a down air. Down throw, and immediate extension right here, covering that platform really well. Neojo continuing that consistent game plan we saw earlier, hits him right off stage. Another opportunity. Doesn't cover the platform that time, but now Neojo has that info.
Nexus only really finding a couple hits to start this off, but now that he's getting going, 45% comes in the blink of an eye. Finds that stray hit off of the back air to maybe get a little bit of extra chip damage. The down tilt sets up for the tech chase, but the F smash does not quite reach as Nexus rolls out instead of in.
Ooh,
Charizard
midair
out.
Switch right there after a whiff, and with that Charizard,
That throw
full
should
throw.
kill here, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a lead for Neojo. Looking good right now.
A very different start to the first game of the last series, where I believe Nexus took the first stock and got a decent helping of extra credit, but he's not going to let it go the same way for Neojo as he finds that back air real quick before any
Yeah.
extra credit can be found.
The jump was stolen so early, and Nexus knew they just had to be patient and wait for them to go near the ledges. Right here, this is damage evening up. Nexus has regained a lead right now. Down throw, though. Neojo looking to bring this back as best they can. Over to the Ivysaur, though, once they're past 60%.
A lot of damage already been racked up by Nexus, and the back air on town is more than enough to confirm it. So despite the early lead found by St. Thomas, looks like that's all but gone thanks to the hard work of Nexus. And keep in mind, too, if he can close out this stock here, it's still a better start than it even was during the first series. And that was one where Nexus took 6 stocks.
It is again, one sweet spot back air, forward tilt. Anything near the ledge will be enough from Charizard, but you're also a big body fishing for that kill. Goes back to the Squirtle, but this time Nexus was ready, bounces them right up into the platform, but Neojo is able to get the reversal, able to get their own combo going, drag down into the back throw.
Coming back on stage, though, caught by the lingering Nair. Sent a little bit deeper off, but we haven't really seen Neojo go for any of those long, disjointed Ivysaur spikes. Gets caught by the Trump, and then the long game for the Bear. And Nexus looked for those. He just stood there. What are you doing, Joe?
Did the
He
controller
stood
get
there.
put down?
He stood there and watched as Nexus did F smash, spot dodge, up tilt. He didn't push any buttons. What
Base.
happened?
He's stanced up. Is it? Doesn't Charizard have Intimidate? I don't know what to tell you. Like,
No, he doesn't.
oh damn, I'm mixing up my Pokemon. Either way, though, unfortunate little mishap right there. That's what we'll label that, I guess. Has Neojo had an opportunity right there? Charizard back throw into an edge guard could have been it. It's unfortunate to see that, and now, like you said, the team is in a worse off position than when they started that last one. This is that adaptation from Fisher coming out here.
Same bands as after game number 1, coming through 2 from the side of Fisher. FD Kalos and Hollow Bastion struck off the face of the earth. I wonder if they're going to send Amp in again and see if they can do a little bit better against Nexus than the first time around.
I feel like the run back might go a little bit better. Again, We saw potential for AMP in the beginning of the game, but they weren't able to keep up that mentality once it came time for kill confirms. And ooh, Falco has so many fun toys to play with. Up tilt back air, down air back air, random F smashes, side B back air. Meanwhile, we were just seeing kind of attempts at forward tilt edge guards, forward tilt edge traps. That's all we really got from AMP. If they're able to pick things up a notch here, I could be eating my words, but right now AMP definitely has a lot of adaptation that they had to be doing in between these matches.
It looks like our stage selection is going to be Smashville, so at least if it is AMP, and we don't have that confirmed quite yet, if it is AMP, it will be at least in a different venue against Nexus, but also Nexus has another stock than he did last time around. He's got 2 instead of 1. Just take from that what you will, and looks like it might be AMP again.
Yep, on that Wolf as well. Hoping to have cleaned up their gameplay. You know they've been practicing in between this match. Can they bring it back? Can they make this work? It's up to AMP to show you what they've got to strut their stuff here against Nexus. And all up close and personal here on Smashville.
Nexus, what are you doing? Nexus, what?
Nexus! He's trying to jab. Okay. Okay, we're gentlemen. Okay.
Good enough. There, okay. Now it's perfectly fine. That Wolf laser did its job.
Nexus was so excited. The gun is so fun. You get to pull the trigger, a laser comes out. How can you resist?
It's been an idiom since all the way back in Melee for a reason. The most fun thing about playing the Spaceys is you get to shoot the gun.
You do get to shoot the gun, as they both started out like that, but I like that. AMP, while you would love to see reversal, just holds on to stage control, looking for consistency right here at the ledge, but a down air off the ledge is a reversal from Nexus. Opportunity at an edge guard right here, but just regain center stage.
It looks like we're already seeing, I don't know for sure there are misinputs, but a couple weird choices or maybe weird reads from AMP. Because like we saw there, I think it was a fair into bear the other way. So maybe trying to read or roll in, an air dodge in, or maybe just messing up the fast fall RAR.
Yeah, either way though, that is one opening you do not want to give them, and that's why they fish for that side B so much. Oh, I wasn't sure who got caught, but it's Nexus who comes away with the stock.
Nexus already going positive in that KD. 4 stocks taken. And he's still relatively healthy, especially compared to how the last time he played against AMP went, when AMP got him to just about this percent and then did not touch him much more for the rest of the game.
I will say AMP is going blow for blow a lot better this time. Up smash whiffs right in the center stage, but I like that they are going for kill moves right now. You gotta make Nexus a little more scared of you.
I like the lasers, but Nexus has already caught on to it all too soon and reflects 2 of them straight back in AMP's face for a decent amount of damage. Now up to 68, we're starting to look at the percent where these up tilts are looking a little bit more deadly than they once did. That's going to be a ledge trump. The sour hit of Bear sends deep off stage, but AMP is just barely able to regain their footing. Ooh, I like the attempt on a Waveland up smash.
Yeah, reading the jump in, reading aggression, but instead that down tilt will clip them. AMP is fishing so hard for this stock. It's a dead even game until you remember that AMP started with a stock up. Nexus has kept this so even. But AMP, this is their opportunity. F tilt right here. Can they get this?
Ooh,
Finally, they're able to get an interruption right there. And now that's a stock off of Nexus. Already looking better.
140% on them, though. That's a stray Falco back air, or pretty much anything from Falco's kit to KO here.
I always love when that
Looking
happens.
for the
Just
bear?
snatches them right out of the air. And finally, yeah, there's the bear out of the platform.
Looking for something here.
Yeah, it's getting a little messy. It was very clean opening this up. They were respecting each other a lot, but now
Call
they're
this
just looking
spaghetti.
for their... Yeah.
They're just pushing buttons, hoping something lands.
Got very good combo starters, and they want them so bad.
Hey, listen, spaghetti wins games.
Yes, it does.
It established an empire in Italy.
As well, the spaghetti
he
has
doesn't
already
have a
put
jump.
AMP off stage, but does not contend with that hitbox. Side B opens them up again, but air dodge is out. AMP is keeping their stock, but at what cost? They're racking up on the damage.
Did not have the read on which side of the Nexus was going to be landing with that forward air, so suffered the consequences of that landing. Hitbox, Nexus looking for the down smash on the get-up, but just a little bit too soon and gets caught out by that invulnerability window, but there ain't no invulnerability window on that, as Amp goes down to Nexus once more, but this time around does manage to put a stock on the board, as Nexus takes his 6th for the second crew battle in a row.
Yeah, and this is just about where we were last time. I've seen this show already. We're gonna see 7-3.
We'll see if Nexus ends up SDing again on that first stock. If it happens, then I will yell at the admins for just replaying the same game, because that's just lazy.
Yeah, it really is. Come on. Like, there's so much good content available, and you're just gonna keep running the classics, the Nexus SD. The plot twist, it just doesn't hit the same in the reboot, but either way, I feel like Derpger... Here's the thing. I was mentioning this before game. Stack is a team that just walks around with smiles on their faces. At the LAN, online, when we interview them, they always just are so jovial, even when they're getting their ass... or when they're getting beat. They really are... I have to imagine Derpger is just sitting there, grinning, their teammates around them. They're going to have a good time here.
And speaking of Derpger, they are, who else, going to be the anchor for St. Thomas Aquinas in this potential final game of the crew battle. We'll see how it goes, as it is the same bands, and we run it back to Smashville. So a different stage than Nexus versus Derpger took place on last time around. We'll see if the matchup goes a little bit differently, if Nexus is able to put a 7th stock on the board for his squad, or if Derpger is going to be able to go into the next at least fully healthy.
As Derpger... Well, even without that SD, Derpger was still holding their own very well against Nexus, and you can tell... I mean, Nexus is probably listening to the stream. You know they are.
No autopilot laser this time around, Nexus. All right, we didn't get the stray lasers to set up this game this time around.
Not this time.
Just a 7%, quick 7% set up on Derpger.
Let's regrab. Ooh, they're able to catch them on the get-up right there, but a quick reversal right there. Get the reflect, but that's not quite enough. Ooh. I like that, going for the kill almost immediately.
Finds the dash attack. Oh, just misses out on the dare on Nexus's high side B. That's something that he had been getting punished for a little bit against Derpger for the one stock we saw it earlier. And I'm glad to see that Derpger didn't forget that adaptation. He kept it in the back of his mind and was ready for this rematch against Nexus.
Yeah, just keeping this villager in the air. This balloon boy cannot get to the ground, but the space back air is not enough to keep one from scratching you on its own. Reflect on the Lloyd rocket as well. Is Nexus going to get aggressive at the ledge again? The back air, and that's already 7 stocks right here from Nexus.
I don't think he has any intention of stopping soon either. Derpger is going to be the one who has to put a stop to it, or else Nexus will just keep going. Sends that pot straight back into his face, shatters it on the skull of the young villager.
Yeah, and Nexus really isn't feeding them any of those side... Never mind.
You just had to say it. And he died off of it. Not quite. Oh, he's almost certainly dead here. Oh, no. Okay, Derpger doesn't set up in time for the dare or the fair off stage, and Nexus is able to get back as a consequence, but it's just a stray up tilt instead to do it. And that sends Nexus out once again, but 7 stocks the richer for it. He's definitely padded his stats here with I believe 13, if I'm not mistaken, taken across the two games of this crew battle so far.
13. That's only 5 stocks. Assuming that Derpger doesn't get a crazy reverse sweep, but
it would have to be 7 stocks to match the Nexus run to reverse sweep.
It would. And if any player could do it, it would be Derpger, if only it were any other team. If only we didn't know Sonics is here playing.
If only we didn't know that, like, okay, depending on who they take out here, they've probably got to 2-stock them. And even in the case that they do 2-stock them, Sonics is waiting in the wings. And again, going in against Sonic with anything less than 3 stocks, I don't even know if MK Leo could do it.
Yeah. it's brutal. As Luxa is coming in, we're seeing the same lineup, the same tried and tested winners. This lineup, they are no strangers to victory. In fact, the only thing they are strange to is defeat. We brought it up in passing. To my knowledge, they have never even dropped a crew battle. They've never even dropped a game. So this is not necessarily surprising how dominant Fisher is, but every time we see it, it feels like they're just getting better. And even though people are trying to close the gap, the improvement is always just 10 steps ahead from Fisher.
And it seems like the next player coming in for Fisher is going to be Luxa and their Ike once more. And if you'll recall, all the way back to that last Hollow Bastion game, Luxa was able to take 2 and almost a 3rd stock off Derpiger. And this time around, thanks to Nexus, Derpiger no longer has that 3rd stock to pad themselves with. We'll see how it goes, as our venue is decided to going to be PS2 for this potential final game of this entire crew battle series.
I personally like this a little bit more. It gives that little bit of no man's land in the middle of the stage where you don't have to worry about those aerials dipping down from above in the platform. And in general, I like the fact that you can always reset to the other platform. I feel like Derpter, with the way they were just looping Luxa around the stage last time, this could benefit them. But then again, this is Luxa's stage. They did want to go here.
Look at that dash dance coming through. Immediately tries for the quick draw off the bat, but ends up getting stopped by the Lloyd rocket. So nothing has come of it as of yet.
And Luxa playing calm, playing collected around this platform.
I'm not seeing nearly enough nairs, I'll be honest with you. Yeah!
Yeah. You know you're not going to hit him, and you're going to push the air anyway. You know why? Because that's what you do.
Because that is Ike. Push, nair.
They are struggling to get in, I will say.
Because they're not nairing enough. Nair more. Yes!
Derpter just tried so hard, and finally Luxa comes down with a nair, and they finally get rewarded for it. It's what you deserve.
Stays up on top of that platform to get away from the growing tree. Finds I think that was an uncharged quick draw. And they're going to convert it into at least one up air, if nothing else, for a 59%. And I know it doesn't seem like much given the fact that 108 is already on Ike, but Villager, he'll be losing this stock soon if Ike and his big sword have anything to say about it. And he just might with these fares off stage.
I like that drift away right there, knowing that Villager is able to drift away from that follow-up. It's a little scary right here.
I really like how Luxa is playing around these platforms, not just using it as a way to escape from the tree, but also making it so that, like, okay, Derpiger needs to jump here, needs to burn at least one resource to even think about hitting me with these slingshots. And the dash attack, that's going to be a stock. Despite playing from behind the entire time, we learned it during the last time these two played. Luxa, more than capable of playing from behind to take these stocks out of seemingly nowhere. Grab the jab, though.
There's the ledge right there, but caught on the recovery right here. Derpiger trying to avoid big damage, rolls away twice and gets an up tilt to finish that off. Steps up the tree at ledge. Will Luxa try to contest? No, they are wise to it, but Derpiger doesn't care. They just go right in with the axe.
Lands with Nair, gets the fair off of it too. This is a lot of damage for an Ike. 62 being put on the board brings us right back into that situation where stray hits start to set up for kills.
More chip damage. Derpiger back to their game plan, but even percent right here. And again, this is kill confirmed percent for Ike. Here at the ledge right here, can't get the 2-frame, but either way, so many hitboxes thrown
Dude,
out.
he's pushing buttons. He wants this villager gone.
You know what? I like the mix-up. You don't push buttons the entire game, then all of a sudden you're wailing at the ledge. It's a little bit of timing mix-up that did throw Derpiger off a little bit. Landing caught by the dash check again.
That is the...
Oh?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no. I got distracted a little bit there from the thought that Derpiger might not make it back to stage, but what I was trying to say is that is not the first time that Luxa had just gone for these dash attacks as a read on an air dodge, but speaking of a read, just throws out that up smash and Luxa jumps straight into it for a stock gone.
Fireworks explode in celebration. Lloyd Rocket sets up tech on the platform, but is not ready for the get-up attack. Up,
Is
he got a
that it?
shield. Is that enough? Off the corner, and that is going to be it. Luxa gets the run back against Derpter. Sonic stays comfortable, not even needing to come out, and that will be Fisher College with yet another 2-0 victory.
Another 2-0 victory in a long, long line of 2-0 victories for this squad. They just take another name off their list. They move on to, I believe, the semifinal of this single elimination bracket and look to just continue this reign of terror. Now, despite being the second seed of the whole bracket, I believe that was for administration reasons rather than seeding reasons, as they are by far the favorites to win this whole thing.
Yeah, they certainly are, but with that, I think we are just going to be wrapping things up. Oh, we actually have no interview. They are staying focused. They are staying calm and collected. So I think that's just about it for us, Last.
Yep, it looks like the two of us are going to be closing it out, but thank you guys so very much for tuning in this, I almost called it Tuesday, but it's not quite Tuesday yet. It's a late Monday night. It's 9 p.m. around me, and you know what? A little bit earlier than I thought I'd be getting off. So I'm going to go get myself some Taco Bell or something like that as I get ready to just grind some Pokemon. What about you, Killer Miles?
I work at a college, which, hey, it's finals week all there. Everyone out there watching this stream, take care of yourself out there. It's hard. Video games aren't everything, but also still try. Study.
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 With those
Don't be like
parting
us.
words, I'm just going to keep yelling study as we say goodbye. We'll see you next time. Study. You should study.
Sorry, my soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows, that's real big. I gotta do it big. That's the only way I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Jeez, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the ground on the cards is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you. They was blocking the shine, now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents. And now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like can too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do. I wanna see the world, my vision on Shamu. That mean I got goals that's real big, foes that's real big. Y'all offer too little, sorry, my soul soul is real big. Coming into the ring with blows that's real big. I gotta do it big, that's the only way I can live.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Ain't accepting ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' as kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finish this bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds